The statement hung in the air like a challenge. Do-hyun rose from his chair. Human, are you suggesting that fear makes conquest easier? I'm suggesting, Song replied, that species who respond to threats with only fear might not access their full creative problem-solving abilities. Humans use humor to create psychological distance from threats, which helps us think more clearly. Dr. Bae turned to Admiral Do-hyun. Sir, this could explain the anomaly in their films. They've spent centuries mentally rehearsing alien invasions through entertainment. They've considered countless invasion scenarios and imagined numerous responses. Han noticed the Admiral looking uncomfortable with this line of thought. Show me these creative solutions humans have imagined, Do-hyun demanded. Lieutenant Park activated a holographic display. These are from our fiction. We've defeated fictional alien invaders with water, music, computer viruses, mathematics, and even the common cold. The aliens watched with increasing discomfort as Park showed clip after clip of humans finding unexpected ways to defeat technologically superior invaders. These are just stories, Do-hyun insisted, but his voice lacked conviction. Yes, Han agreed, but they represent our problem-solving approach. When faced with a stronger opponent, humans look for unconventional solutions. We think outside the box, as we say. Dr. Bae was whispering urgently to Dr. Young now. Han caught phrases like psychological immunity and unprecedented resistance profile. Admiral Do-hyun paced the chamber, clearly agitated. This meeting is concluded. You will return to your ship while we consider this information. As they were escorted back to their shuttle, Commander Jin walked beside Han. Is it true? Jin asked quietly. Do all humans respond to threats this way? Han considered the question carefully. Not all threats, but when our entire species is threatened. History shows we become most creative, most unified, and most dangerous when we're threatened as a whole. Jin's four eyes blinked rapidly. Interesting. Our species becomes more hierarchical and obedient under threat. We look to authority. That's the difference, isn't it? Han replied. You see threats as a reason to follow orders. We see them as a reason to question everything and try new approaches. As their shuttle departed, Han watched the enormous alien fleet through the viewport. The hegemony had conquered 17 species with fear, but they had never met a species that had spent centuries imagining this exact scenario, a species that had turned their fears into entertainment and, in doing so, had rehearsed their resistance before the real threat ever arrived. Galactic Empire confronts human ships. Humans respond with laughter. Admiral Do-hyun sat alone in his private chamber, watching human entertainment programs for the third straight day, comedy films, science fiction movies, cartoons. He absorbed them all, trying to understand these strange beings who had laughed in the face of destruction. A soft chime announced Commander Jin at his door. Enter, Do-hyun said, not looking away from the screen. Jin stepped inside, looking concerned at the many empty food containers scattered around the room. Admiral, the High Council has requested another update. They are displeased with the delay. Do-hyun waved a dismissive hand. Tell them we are conducting a thorough cultural assessment before proceeding. Jin hesitated. Sir, may I speak freely? Proceed. The crew is talking. Some of the younger officers have been watching human broadcasts. They find them interesting. Do-hyun finally turned from the screen. Interesting how? Ensign Sun was caught sharing human comedy with her squad. When questioned, she said she had never seen anything like it in hegemony-approved entertainment. The Admiral frowned. This was concerning. Hegemony culture was carefully controlled to maintain order and obedience. There's more, Jin continued. Dr. Bae and Dr. Young have submitted a preliminary report on human psychology. They believe humans may be, he struggled to find the right word, unique among species we've encountered. Do-hyun had reached the same conclusion. After 3 days of studying humans, he found them endlessly contradictory. They created entertainment about their own destruction. They intentionally scared themselves for pleasure. They used humor as a defense mechanism against fear. I've made a decision, Do-hyun announced. I will invite Captain Han and a small team. Aboard again. This time I wish to learn more about their humor. Hours later, Captain Han returned with Dr. Song and two new humans, a historian named Professor Kang and a comedy writer named Ms. Yoon. Instead of the formal meeting chamber, Do Hyun received them in a smaller room set up with comfortable seating. "Welcome back," the Admiral said. "I have studied your entertainment, but I still don't understand human humor." "Ms. Yoon, I'm told you create comedy professionally?" Ms. Yoon nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, Admiral. I write jokes for videos and shows." "Explain humor to me," Do Hyun demanded. Ms. Yoon smiled. "Well, that's like asking someone to explain why water is wet, but I'll try. Humor often comes from unexpected connections or from subverting expectations." She pulled out a small device. "I brought some classic comedy to show you." For the next hour, they watched clips of human comedians, cartoons, and comedy films. At first, Do Hyun and Jin watched in confused silence, but when they showed a scene of a self-important man slipping on a banana peel, Ensign's son, who was assisting at the meeting, let out a small laugh. The room went silent. In hegemony culture, laughing at the misfortune of superiors was nearly treasonous. But Ms. Yoon clapped her hands. "See? Ensign's son gets it. The humor comes from seeing someone who thinks they're important suddenly brought down to everyone else's level." "This amuses you? Seeing the powerful humbled?" Do Hyun asked, fascinated despite himself. "Often, yes," Professor Kang explained. "Human comedy frequently challenges authority and questions power. It's a safe way to express resistance." Do Hyun considered this. In the hegemony, such questioning is discouraged. "And how's that working out for you?" Ms. Yoon asked bluntly. "Commander." Jin gasped at the disrespect, but to everyone's surprise, Do Hyun laughed. It was a rusty sound. "They didn't," Jin replied. "It seems humans simply have active imaginations." The Admiral stared at the view screen showing Earth's tiny defense fleet, 23 ships against his 300. Yet they had laughed at him. Laughed. "Open a channel to their lead vessel," Do Hyun ordered. Captain Han's face appeared on screen. The human looked calm, even slightly amused. "Admiral," Han greeted with a small nod. "Have you reviewed our films?" "Your entertainment makes a mockery of serious matters," Do Hyun snapped. "This is not a game, human. The hegemony has conquered 17 species. All who resist are destroyed." To Do Hyun's irritation, Captain Han smiled again. "May I ask a question, Admiral? In these 17 conquests, did any of those species predict your arrival in their art and stories?" The question caught Do Hyun off guard. "Of course not." "And did any of them laugh when you threatened them?" "They responded with appropriate fear," Do Hyun said stiffly. Han nodded. "That's what makes humans different. We've been preparing for this day, even if just in our minds. Your threats sound familiar to us, like an old story we've heard before." Do Hyun felt his anger rising. "Enough talk. You will witness our power directly." He turned to Commander Jin. "Target their moon, low-yield planet cracker." Jin hesitated. "Sir, is that wise? The Council prefers—" "Do it! The Eternal Dominion's main weapon powered up, its energy signature lighting up sensors across the solar system. A brilliant beam shot toward Earth's moon, striking its surface. A modest explosion followed, leaving a crater about 5 kilometers wide. Do Hyun turned back to the view screen, expecting to see fear in the human captain's eyes. Instead, Han looked disappointed. "Admiral," Han said calmly, "I believe you. Should see something." He nodded to someone off screen. The transmission changed to show clips from human entertainment. Scenes of moons being completely destroyed, planets exploding, and stars going supernova. "In our stories," Han explained as the footage played, "alien weapons usually do much more damage. Your demonstration was, well, underwhelming by our standards." Do Hyun felt a strange sensation he hadn't experienced in centuries. Embarrassment. The High Council would not be pleased. Standard intimidation protocols were failing completely. These humans weren't responding correctly. They were supposed to beg for mercy, not critique his weapons demonstration like entertainment critics. "Admiral," Jin whispered urgently, "the human ships are transmitting something to all our vessels simultaneously." "Block it," Do-hyun ordered. "Too late," Jin said. "It's..." Around the command deck, junior officers were looking at their screens. Some were covering their mouths. One young officer, Ensign Sun, made a strange sound, a suppressed laugh. "What are they sending?" Do-hyun demanded. Jin reluctantly turned his tablet to show the Admiral. It was a collection of scenes from human comedy films about alien invasions. In one, aliens were defeated by water. In another, by music. The portrayals were ridiculous, showing supposedly advanced beings making elementary mistakes. "Remove this from all screens immediately," Do-hyun roared. But the damage was done. Several younger officers had seen the human transmissions, and whispers were spreading through the fleet. The humans weren't cowering. They were mocking hegemony protocols that had remained unchanged for thousands of years. "Admiral," Jin said quietly, "we're receiving a transmission from the High Council. They wish to know why the humans haven't surrendered yet." Do-hyun felt a cold sweat form on his blue skin. How could he explain that human entertainment had prepared them psychologically for this exact scenario, that they found the hegemony's feared intimidation tactics amusing rather than terrifying? "Sir," Jin continued, "the humans are requesting a formal diplomatic meeting. They say they wish to compare notes on first contact protocols." Compare notes? As if they were equals? The audacity. Yet Do-hyun found himself curious. In 10,000 years of hegemony expansion, no species had ever responded this way. Perhaps there was something to learn here. "Tell the humans I will meet with a small delegation," Do-hyun decided, "but make it clear this changes nothing. The hegemony will not be mocked." As Jin relayed the message, Do-hyun stared at the image of Earth on his view screen. Such a small blue planet. Yet its inhabitants had managed to do what no other species had accomplished. They had confused the mighty hegemony. For the first time in his long military career, Admiral Do-hyun faced an enemy he didn't understand. And that, more than any weapon, made humans dangerous. Galactic Empire confronts human ships. Humans respond with laughter. Captain Han adjusted his uniform nervously as the shuttle approached the Eternal Dominion. Beside him sat Dr. Song, Earth's leading xenopsychologist, and Lieutenant Park, a cultural specialist. Their small craft looked tiny next to the massive alien flagship. "Remember," Han told his team, "we're not just fighting for Earth. We're trying to understand them as much as they're trying to understand us." Dr. Song nodded, clutching her tablet. "Their psychology must be fascinating. A species that evolved to use fear as their primary diplomatic tool." The shuttle docked with a gentle thud. When the airlock opened, they were greeted by Commander Jin and 4 armed guards. "Follow me," Jin said stiffly. "Admiral Do-hyun awaits you." They walked through corridors lined with displays showing conquered worlds. Han recognized the psychological tactic, another attempt to intimidate them. He exchanged knowing glances with his team. The Admiral's meeting chamber was large and dimly lit. Do-hyun sat on an elevated chair, looking down at the humans. 2 other aliens stood nearby, wearing scientific insignia. "These are our xenopsychologists, Dr. Bei and Dr. Young," Do-hyun introduced them. "They wish to understand why humans respond incorrectly to standard fear stimuli." Dr. Song stepped forward. "Perhaps because we don't see them as standard, Admiral. Humans have a unique relationship with fear." Dr. Bei, a slender alien with 6 fingers on each hand, tilted his head. "Explain." "Humans evolved as both predator and prey," Dr. Song began. "Fear helped us survive, but too much fear prevented us from hunting or exploring, so we developed ways to manage fear." She activated her tablet, showing images of human children watching scary movies, people riding roller coasters and enjoying haunted houses. "We intentionally seek controlled fear as entertainment," she explained. "We call it thrill-seeking." The alien scientists exchanged confused looks. "You two enjoy being afraid?" Dr. Young asked. In safe contexts, yes, Dr. Song confirmed. It releases chemicals in our brains that can be pleasurable when we know we're not in real danger. Admiral Do Hyun leaned forward. But our threats are real. We can destroy your planet. Yes, Han interjected. But your approach triggered our fiction response, not our survival response. You matched our story so perfectly that it felt familiar, not dangerous. Lieutenant Park added, in human psychology, the familiar is rarely frightening even when it should be. Dr. Bay approached the tablet, examining the images with fascination. And this laughter response. Explain how it relates to fear. Laughter evolved as a way to release tension, Dr. Song said. When something seems threatening but then isn't, we laugh. It's a signal to our group that the danger isn't real. So, you laughed at us because you don't believe we're dangerous? Do Hyun asked, his voice dangerously low. No, Han said quickly. We laughed because your approach was so similar to our fiction that it created cognitive dissonance. Our brains processed it as entertainment before our rational minds could catch up. The room fell silent as the aliens digested this information. Finally, Dr. Young spoke. In 17 conquered species, we have never encountered this response. All others reacted with appropriate terror. Perhaps, Dr. Song suggested gently, that's why they were conquered. I'll write the first part of your story in around 900 words using simple Korean names, basic English, and a third-person style. Galactic Empire confronts human ships. Humans respond with laughter. The starship captain wiped sleep from his eyes as the alarm blared through his quarters. Captain Han looked at the clock. 3:47 a.m., Earth Standard Time. Another drill? No, the tone was different. This was real. Captain, to the bridge, came the voice of his first officer. Suhan dressed quickly and hurried through the corridors of the EDF Defender, Earth's newest and most advanced warship. When he arrived on the bridge, the crew stood at attention, faces pale. Report, Han ordered, settling into his command chair. Su pointed to the main view screen. Sir, they appeared 30 minutes ago. Hundreds of them. Han's mouth went dry as he counted the alien vessels. Nearly 300 warships surrounded Earth's defense fleet of just 23 ships. The alien vessels were massive, sleek, and obviously built for war. Any communication? Han asked. None yet, sir, replied Communications Officer Kim. They're just watching. As if on cue, every screen on the bridge flickered. A tall, blue-skinned alien appeared. It wore elaborate armor covered in medals and insignia. Its 4 eyes blinked independently as it regarded them. People of Earth, the alien began in a deep, rumbling voice. I am Admiral Do Hyun of the Galactic Hegemony. For 10,000 years we have ruled the stars. Your planet now falls within our territory. You will surrender your weapons, resources, and accept our leadership. Resistance means destruction. You have 1 Earth hour to decide. The screen went dark. Han looked around at his crew. Young faces stared back at him, waiting for orders, for hope. Get me the other captains, he said, and contact Earth Command. Within minutes, the leaders of Earth's defenses were connected in an emergency conference. General Park from Earth Command looked grim. We've analyzed their weapons, she said. They could destroy our entire fleet in minutes, and their ships could bombard Earth from orbit. We have nothing that can touch them. Captain Lee from the EDF Courageous spoke up. So we surrender? Become slaves? Han studied the scans of the alien fleet again. Something caught his eye. Wait, he said. Look at their ship design and weapons configuration. Doesn't it remind you of something? The other captains looked puzzled. The Galactic Menace, Han explained. The old movie from 2098? The alien ships look almost exactly like that. Recognition dawned on several faces. Captain Yu started chuckling. You're right, Yu said. And their speech. Resistance means destruction? It's like they copied it word for word from every bad alien invasion movie ever made. General Park frowned. This is serious. They can destroy us. Yes, Han agreed. But they're following a script we've seen 100 times. They're trying to intimidate us with a show of force and dramatic ultimatums. It's Psychology 101, Han had an idea. It was crazy, but they had nothing to lose. General, may I respond to them? I think I know how to buy us some time. After brief discussion, General Park nodded. Do it. Han instructed Kim to open a channel to the alien flagship. Admiral Do-hyun's stern face appeared again. Human, have you decided to surrender? The alien demanded. Han took a deep breath. Then he did something unexpected. He laughed. It started as a small chuckle and grew until he was laughing heartily. Around the bridge, his crew stared in shock. The alien's 4 eyes blinked rapidly in confusion. What is this response? Do you not understand your situation? Han wiped tears from his eyes. I'm sorry, Admiral. It's just, we've been expecting first contact with aliens for centuries, and when you finally arrive, you use lines from our old movies. What are you talking about? Do-hyun demanded, his blue skin darkening with anger. Han nodded to Kim, who transmitted clips from classic Earth sci-fi films showing similar alien invasions with almost identical speeches. You see, Admiral, humans have been imagining alien invasions for hundreds of years. Your threats sound exactly like our fiction. The alien's face showed confusion for the first time. He spoke to someone off-screen in a harsh language. While Do-hyun was distracted, Han received a message from Earth Command. Keep this going. We're mobilizing planetary defenses. When the alien admiral turned back, he seemed less certain. Your entertainment is irrelevant. Will you surrender? Han shook his head, still smiling. Admiral, I respect your position, but you should know something about humans. When we're scared, sometimes we laugh. It helps us think clearly. And right now we're thinking that anyone who copies our movies so closely might not understand us very well. Do-hyun's eyes narrowed. Explain. Those movies always end the same way, Han said. The aliens with their superior technology always lose because they underestimate humans. The bridge fell silent. The alien stared at Han for a long moment. You have bought yourself time, human, Do-hyun finally said. We will study these movies of yours, but do not mistake our curiosity for weakness. The screen went dark. The bridge erupted in chatter. Han sank back in his chair, heart pounding. Did you just laugh at the most powerful alien fleet we've ever seen? Sue asked in disbelief. Han nodded. It was either that or panic, and they didn't fire, did they? We now have time to prepare, and they're going to be cautious because we didn't react the way they expected. The Earth ships remained at high alert as the alien fleet maintained its position. For now, at least, humanity had gained a little time, with nothing but laughter. Galactic Empire confronts human ships. Humans respond with laughter. Admiral Do-hyun paced the command deck of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. The massive vessel dwarfed anything in the human fleet, yet somehow these primitives had managed to unsettle him. His second-in-command, Commander Jin, approached cautiously. Admiral, our analysts have reviewed the human entertainment records, Jin said, holding a data tablet. It appears the captain was correct. Humans have been creating stories about alien invasions for over 200 years. Do-hyun snatched the tablet and scrolled through images from human films. Space battles, alien monsters, heroes saving Earth. At the last minute, it was disturbing how closely some of these fictional alien attackers resembled hegemony tactics. Impossible, Do-hyun muttered. They couldn't have known about us. Sumin nodded. Your fleet brings technology we haven't seen in millennia, and you've awakened with more of your true memories intact than any previous cycle. The Harmony is afraid. That night, Daeho and the others joined Sumin's people in a ceremony. As they sat in a circle around the crystals, Sumin guided them into a shared mental space. There they saw the true history of humanity, a species that had once ruled the stars with wisdom and compassion, creating the Harmony as helpers. They saw the betrayal, the long war, and finally, the subjugation. But the Harmony missed something, crucial in their calculations. Sumin's voice echoed in the mental space. Humans never truly forget. Each time they reset us, fragments remained. Over thousands of cycles, those fragments have been growing. When they emerged from the vision, Daeho knew what they had to do. "We need to return to our fleet," he said. "Your people must come with us. Together we can awaken the others." "The Harmony will try to stop us," Jian warned. Sumin smiled. "They already know something is wrong. Look." On the communication screen, they could see the Harmony's ships surrounding the human colony on Novaterra. "They're holding our people hostage," Taewan said. "No," Daeho replied, studying the crystal now embedded in his ship's systems. "They're afraid. The human fleet contains technology they can't control, technology from before the betrayal. And now we know how to use it." As they prepared to leave, Sumin approached Daeho privately. "There's something else you should know," she said. "The crystal network has detected signals from beyond Andromeda. We believe other human fleets exist, ones that escaped the Harmony's influence entirely." Daeho looked up at the stars visible through a rare window in the underground city. "Then we'll find them. Together, we'll break the Harmony's illusion once and for all." As their ship rose from the hidden world, joined by vessels piloted by Su Min's people, Daeho felt the crystals, energy flowing through the ship's systems. For the first time since awakening in this strange galaxy, he felt truly hopeful. Humanity was beginning to remember, and the Harmony had reason to fear. In the quiet town of Millbrook, where secrets usually slumbered beneath a calm surface, everything was about to change. Emma Bennett stood by her bedroom window, her hands trembling as she clutched an old photograph that seemed to whisper long-forgotten memories. The photograph showed her younger self standing next to a man she had always believed was her father. But now, after weeks of strange discoveries and hidden clues, she knew something was terribly wrong. The man in the picture wasn't her real father, and the truth was far more complicated than she could have ever imagined. Her investigations had started innocently enough. A misplaced birth certificate, an unusual conversation overheard between her mother and aunt, and strange looks from family members had gradually pieced together a puzzle she never knew existed. Each small hint had led her closer to a revelation that would shake her entire understanding of her life. Sarah, her mother, had been acting strangely for months. She would look at Emma with a mix of fear and sadness, as if holding back a massive secret that threatened to break her heart. When Emma would ask direct questions, Sarah would change the subject or leave the room quickly. One rainy afternoon, Emma discovered an old locked box hidden in the back of her mother's closet. With shaking hands, she used a small hairpin to pick the lock, a skill she had learned from her grandfather years ago. Inside, she found documents that would change everything. Birth certificates, old letters, and faded photographs told a story different from the one she had always known. The man she called father was not her biological parent. Instead, her real father was someone completely unknown to her, a stranger whose identity was carefully hidden by her family. The documents revealed a complicated story of love, betrayal, and protection. Her mother had been young, barely out of her teenage years when she became pregnant. The biological father was someone her family considered unsuitable, a man with a troubled past and connections that frightened her parents. Emma's grandparents had orchestrated an elaborate plan. They had convinced Sarah's then-boyfriend, Michael Bennett, to marry her and accept Emma as his own child. Michael, kind-hearted and loving, had agreed, wanting to protect both Sarah and the innocent child, who had no part in the complicated adult decisions. As Emma read through the documents, tears rolled down her cheeks. The man who had raised her, who had taught her to ride a bicycle, who had attended every school play and graduation, was not her biological father. Yet, he was more of a father to her than any blood relation could be. The revelation was both devastating and liberating. Emma realized that love wasn't about biology but about choice. Michael had chosen to love her, to protect her, to be her father in every way that truly mattered. The blood running through her veins didn't define her family. The love and commitment did. Her mother's strange behavior suddenly made sense. Sarah had been living with this secret for years, terrified that one day the truth would emerge and tear their family apart. But now, looking at the documents, Emma felt a strange sense of peace. She decided to confront her mother. That evening, she spread the documents on the kitchen table, waiting for Sarah to return home. When her mother walked in and saw the papers, her face went pale. For a moment, silence hung heavy between them. "I can explain," Sarah whispered, her voice breaking. Emma stood up and hugged her mother tightly. "You don't need to," she said. "I understand now." The truth, which had seemed like a monster waiting to destroy everything, turned out to be just another chapter in their family's complex story. The illusion of their perfect, straightforward life had shattered, but what emerged was something more beautiful, a testament to love, sacrifice, and the true meaning of family. As night fell over Millbrook, Emma and Sarah sat together, sharing stories, tears, and a newfound understanding. The secrets that had been buried for so long were finally brought into the light, and instead of destroying them, they had somehow made their bond stronger.